Hey everyone, welcome back to part 3 of a Revell 71 Mustang with our Iceman Collection's Widebody kit. So we're picking up where we left off last time and we're going to assemble our wheels. So remember, these are all painted and matte coated and clear coated, the wheel centers last time, and they still fit together like an absolute dream. Very, very nice. Great looking wheels in the Pro Scale gunmetal as well, and the Pro Scale tire black. So there's all 4 wheels assembled. We'll put a little dab of glue on the back of those later on, but I'm going to leave them separate for now, just until we get everything in place. A very quick test fit shows this thing is going to look epic once it's done. I've got one of our Pro Scale V8 distributors that we sell over on our site. These things are absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to use a blue lead one on our engine today. So we're going to take this out. You get the pre-wired distributor, you get some spark plug caps as well to slide over the wire. We just drilled a hole into the top of the block, and all our holes are already pre-drilled because we've used this engine before and it's already had a distributor on it. So it's a case of just widening the holes a touch to get any glue out of them and then gluing the wires in for the distributor. I'm not going to do this in the correct firing order. Yes, I know some of you won't like that because a lot of you always complain. This isn't going to start up anyway because there's no oil, because there's a massive hole in the sump, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to do them in a random order anyway. I'm going to first start by putting some of the pre-cut boot over the end, slide it in place. We'll cut the wire to length, and then we're going to slide that down, make sure it all fits in place where we want it. Once we're happy, we'll pull it out just a little bit, put a little dab of Bob Smith's gold on there, CA glue. There we go, we just touch a tiny little dab, grab our tweezers, push it home, then make sure it sits nice and straight. We've got our leads, and then we can push the wire back where we need it later, and then we'll grab another one, and again, another little dab of glue. We can get that one in place as well, and we'll just work our way through all the leads until they're in place. Now again, blue distributor. Blue is one of the accent colours on this car. We've got the blue body, we've got the blue valve covers, blue air cleaner, the blue distributor, our blue brake calipers, blue brake calipers as well. So it just adds a nice little tie-in, nice little touch. And there we go. And the final one in place, and then obviously we'll repeat this for the other side as well. So nice and easy to do. These are a very nice detailed part for any V8 engine, and as I say, they are by far the nicest pre-wired distributors I've seen. They save a lot of hassle with trying to get wiring in because these are very tricky to wire up. I've done many in the past. I think quite often the holes are under scale on the kit distributors. So these pre-wired ones save a lot of time and hassle. So yeah, there's our final one in. Like I say, repeat that through the side. There we go. Job done. We've got our valve covers in place as well. They've been glued in place. We'll just get our wiring around the side where we want it. And there we go. There's our engine all wired up. Ready to go. Seat belts. Now, I have all the footage of assembling these seat belts, and I will do a separate video on how to build these. I'm not going to include it in every video because it takes so long to do, but I will do a standalone video showing how these are done. So keep an eye out for that on the channel. It'll be one of the next videos after this build. I'm going to keep the footage and make a short video on building them. We've got some CA glue in our interior. My wonderful assistant Hannah has flocked my interior in Pro Scale anthracite flock. So we've had some enamel paint on there and our flock over the top. Again, another heavily requested video, primarily by Dan Pedersen, is a flocking video. We will sort this out at some time as well. It's just like I'd be here all day making videos on these separate components. But these are definitely 2 that a lot of people ask for, which is the belts and the flocking. So start to glue in our interior together. The clay leather looks really good. I think it's going to contrast really well against the blue of the car body. And again, blue seats, tying together the theme. The flocking looks wonderful, looks just like real carpet. So rear bench seats in, Centre console's in. Our aftermarket Recaro seats are in. We're getting the side panels on with the door cards. All glued in place. Really nice. And then the dashboard, we've added all our decals to it. And I'm using my Edding paint marker pen to add some chrome bezels to the instruments and some of the dials and buttons as well. These Edding paint pens, it's actual paint. It's not just a marker pen. It is actually a paint pen, and they are brilliant. They're not cheap. They do a whole range of different colours, but for jobs like this, like bezels and buttons and what have you, I use them on the window winder handles. They are fantastic. They work really well. It does take a while to dry. It must be like enamel base because it does take a while to dry. But on parts like this, you're not going to handle. Absolutely perfect. And then with our steering column in place and our steering wheel painted in the Joe Camilleri effect. So that was painted in skin colour pink paint to begin with, then highlighted in Hull Red from Tamiya, the paintbrush in a random pattern, and then sprayed clear Tamiya orange over the top. Gives us a wood effect steering wheel. It looks good. I've shown this before in a video. So yeah, it's a nice little touch to do. Again, I'll do a separate video on this at some point too. I'm just going to brush paint the centre of the wheel silver using some X11 enamel chrome silver paint from Tamiya. There we go. These little eyeliner, I think they're eyelash pen brushes, wherever they are. Nice. I got the idea from Brandon, and there's our interior all done. I think it looks good. I think the colour contrasts well. I think the belts look good. The carpet looks fantastic. Got a nice bit of detail in there with the wood paneling. Our seatbelt look wonderful. Yeah, happy with this interior. I think it looks quite good. Not too bad at all. I still need to paint the top of that gear shifter as well. That's going to go black, but we'll do that in a minute off air, or off camera rather. Engine, again, the chrome silver X11 enamel paint. We're going to brush paint all the transmission. Slightly different colour than the engine itself. So again, adds a little bit of depth to it. I could have kept it all gunmetal if I wanted, but no, I thought I'd keep going and we'll have a separate metal colour. And again, looks pretty good. Engine's looking good. We've got the air cleaner on there now as well. I think it's going to be a nice addition to the car itself. We've got the auxiliary belts and the auxiliary pulleys. We've painted up as well. We've used some silver on those and some X18 semi-gloss black on the belts as well. And just some careful painting. We can paint all this up and add a bit of detail. We've painted up the oil filter as well, blue, believe it or not. Just add a little bit of colour detail, and the starter motor is in place as well. So a nice engine this out of the Foos truck. It does look good. Exhaust manifolds in place now. I've got no idea at this time how this is all going to fit together because its parts aren't supposed to go together at all. And this thing is one tight fit in this car. It is seriously tight. I had to cut the exhaust manifolds down and actually use those to mount the engine in the frame in the end because there was no other support in there. We started building up the chassis, so we've got some of the components in there. We've got the leaf springs in place. We've got some blue paint on those as well, again, to tie the colour in. We've got the subframes in. We've got a bit of CA glue to hold everything together. You can see I'm just adding a little dab in place and then pushing it together with a little bit of the kicker from Bob Smith's, which is the only kicker which doesn't bother me. All the other kickers really give me banging headaches. This stuff, it's got a nice smell to it and it doesn't bother me at all. Really weird. And then a quick test fit of the engine in place. So it's still loose at this moment. I'm just test fitting. I've got to paint all the bulkhead yet inside and the transmission tunnel. But I'm just having a little test fit. You see, I've had to remove some material from underneath the engine as well, the body. So that's all been cut off. We'll paint that later on. And then a little bit of CA glue to try and mount this. So I've actually used the exhaust manifolds to hold this in place. And just hold it. CA glue, a bit of kicker, get rid of the fumes. And there we go, that's that in. Onto the bodywork. So this has been curing now for quite some time. So we've got our Trizec 6 and 8000 pads. We've got some water, a little bit of washing up liquid in for lubricant. And we're going to go round and flat back all the 2K. So we're going to thin out the 2K with this. And we're going to get rid of any dust spots or imperfections that may be in our finish. So we're going with the 6000 first. and then the 8000. I used to use 3000, but I was finding it was leaving little micro abrasions. I think it was a little bit harsh. And since I've been using the 6 and the 8, I've been getting a much better finish. So I don't think you necessarily need the 3000 all the time. I think if you've got a really prominent spot of dust in there, I would use the 3000 grit on that spot. But I think for the most of the part, I think the 6 and the 8 is more than enough. So it's a case of just going all over the body, being careful of any edges or raised areas where the paint's always thinner, making sure we don't burn through. And we'll just flatten back the high shine of the body, and we'll get that all back in a bit with our polished compounds, what have you. Same for the bonnet as well, just doing each part separately. Just being gentle. Just remember, raised areas or corners, the paint's always going to be thinner, and it's so easy, a lot easier than you think to burn through. It really is easy to do. So just take your time here, otherwise you're undoing all your hard work. And it does come to a point where you might be chasing a dust spot or a slight imperfection where you just got to kind of accept, maybe I'm not going to get it 100% perfect. Rather than run the risk of ruining your hard work, it's sometimes better to quit while you're ahead. So all those flatted back with the 6 and 8000 pads, tri-tip pads, we've now got our Zoom on compound sponges on their holder. So we sell these over on Pro Scale as well. And we've got some Menzerner 2500 medium cut compound as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it on all the upper surfaces to begin with my finger, just to spread it around a little bit, otherwise the tool can flick it everywhere. So we're going to get all the upper surfaces done. And then using my Proxan tool at about 5000 RPM, we're going to gently polish up all the compound and take out all those micro abrasions caused by the sanding pads, and work our way up from the 2500 to the 3500, and then some autoglym super resin polish to begin with. So we're not applying a lot of pressure here. You need to be careful of this tool that you don't catch the yellow part on the body, because it can damage it. But as long as you're careful and just take your time, and again, be wary of any edges or corners. You don't want to burn through the paint. Once you've done this a couple of times, it becomes really second nature and really easy to do. And this, it's an absolute time saver. It really is. I've used the Amazon version of these pads before, and they're not as good. They don't last as long. The Velcro is not as good, and you'll find that the actual pads fly off after a couple of uses, if that. These Zoom on ones, which we sell now, they're absolutely fantastic. The set before this, I had like 7 or 8 kits out of, and I only replaced it because I was actually live on air when it happened. Actually, it was the set after. It was the kit after this. Sorry, not this one. It was when I was doing the Aston Martin. It flung off and I lost it. I had to do a new set. So you definitely get your money's worth. They're about £5 a set. You get a coarse, medium, and a fine. We've got the coarse in for now on the coarser compound. And just after that quick go over with the coarse compound, you can see the shine we've got back already just after the light go over. So they are very efficient at cutting through the 2K, removing those micro abrasions and bringing back that shine, because you can see there just off that coarse compound we've got a lot of the shine back already on the kit, and it saves hours of sanding and polishing and turns it into minutes. So I can probably do a full car in about half an hour now, which used to take me hours to do. It's so much quicker using the rotary tool with the compound sponges, and the Menzerner compounds are absolutely amazing as well. So once we've done the coarse, we're on to the medium, which is this one. A little bit too much there on top, a little bit too much dynamite there, Butch. But we'll spread it round and then wipe the excess off and just wipe it everywhere, all over the body. And again, we've changed compound on the sponges. We've done the whole car now in the original compound, and we're on to the second one now. This is the finer compound. And then we've got the medium sponge on our rotary tool as well now. I'm going to do exactly the same as before, just run all over the body and polish it up to a nice high shine. So this is a softer sponge. You can see how much more it compresses compared to the green. So again, don't leave it too long in one spot. Be careful of all your corners and edges, and just systematically work your way around all the body, polishing it all up to a nice shine. And like I say, be aware of that yellow part of the tool. It's hard plastic, it will chip or damage your paint if you catch it. So be very wary of where it goes. Just take your time, and you don't need a lot of pressure at all. Let the polisher do its work. Definitely. Now I used to use my cordless tool on this, my Herzo cordless power tool from Amazon, but it kept running out of charge right near the end, and I'd have to switch the Proxon. And I kind of just thought, do you know what? It's easy with the Proxon. It's on a foot pedal. I don't need to keep putting it up and down to stop and start it. Yada yada yada. It just makes life a lot easier. So I now use my Proxon. The Proxons are great tools. I much prefer them over Dremels. They seem to be better made. There's a whole host of different attachments. Once you buy a transformer for it, you can plug a whole host of different things in, and they're very reasonably priced as well, the tools, and really high quality. I've had this one for years, and it really hasn't missed a beat at all. It's worked really, really well after all that time. Okay, with a fresh bit of microfiber cloth, we'll go around and buff off all the medium cut compound. And again, beautiful shine coming through now, getting better and better with each subsequent compound. I think I'm just chatting to somebody in the Zoom call there, but as you can see, the shine's coming back really well. Looks absolutely beautiful. Really nice colour, this liquid blue, and the 2K job looking great. Body kit looks superb as well. And the final stage is just some super resin polish from Autoglym. We've switched out the medium compound sponge on the tool now for the fine one, and this is a super soft sponge now. So you need to be very careful when you're using it, because it does compress a lot when pressed on. So again, you don't need a lot of pressure. Let the pad do the work. And just work your way up. I tend to go in a crisscross pattern. So up and down, then left and right on the same panel. And I'll tend to go over twice on each one, just to give a good shine. Now this is a very mild abrasive polish now, and this will give us a nice final shine on the body and really beautify that car. So the whole car has been done from front to back, side to side, everywhere, and we've done the bonnet at the same time, all been given equal treatment. So yeah, time well spent, and much quicker than doing it by hand. It's a lot more efficient. It's a good team paired together with the compound sponges and the compounds from Manzano as well. So like I say, head over to ProScout. We sell these. We've got loads of them in stock. Add them to your multi-tool of choice and your polishing choice, and you've got a much quicker, more efficient way of polishing up your car bodies. And there we go, a final wipe over with our nice bit of microfiber. We've got a beautiful sheen back, looking absolutely wonderful. The Autoglym polish doing a fantastic job. And like I say, we'll continue on doing the rest of the car till it's all done, and the bonnet, and then we'll come back and give it a final wipe over, which we are here. And yeah, the liquid blue, absolutely stunning. All the angles and curves on this body kit really show the paint off really well. It is a good looking car. If it was a good looking car without the body kit, the body kit just makes it look really mean. It is very, very cool. Like I say, the bonnet's been done at the exact same time. So interior, we're going to paint the roof black, and we're going to do the wheel arches black as well. This is some Vallejo model colour black, thinned with a drop or two of water. We've got a nice flat brush which we bought off Amazon. I bought a whole pack of these off Amazon. They're actually pretty decent brushes, to be fair. So just a nice paint coat. The great thing about this is it's a water-based paint, and if you get it on the 2K, it literally wipes off, leaves nothing behind at all. So you don't need to be too careful how you're painting. You just may end up with a bit of it on your hands. But yeah, it just finishes off the touch of the inside. You can't really see it, but it just darkens up the inside a touch, and we'll do the bonnet inside as well. Something I never used to paint. It was like my trademark to leave a bare patch on the inside of the bonnet, but yeah, I've been painting them lately just to give them a little bit of continuity on the build. So there we go. And the model colour paint lays down absolutely beautiful. Like I say, add a drop of water to it, and it definitely improves the way it paints. And there we go. Nicely painted. Takes a few minutes to dry. Lights. So we'll paint the reverse of the lights with a micro brush and some Tamiya X27 Clear Red, the acrylic. And it's just a case of loading up the micro brush, brushing it on. This will self-level. Now you could airbrush this. To be honest, it's on the back of the light, so it doesn't really matter, which is why I'm using the brush. As long as you load it up and let it pool in place, so you get a nice gloss finish, it'll work just fine and look absolutely spot on. So don't always get hung up on airbrushing, it's not always a necessity. Use whatever works well. Right then, so on all the trim of the car, I've opted to spray black. So all the window surrounds are black. I thought it's a modern day kind of resto mod, so I wasn't going to be doing any chrome on it. There's no other chrome on the car really other than a few bits on the interior. So I opted not to do them chrome, and I'm glad I did them black because it gives them quite a mean finish. So this is just Mr. Servicer 1500 black. It gives a good kind of rubber look on windows. It's a paint I've used for years for that job. As you can see, we've used a combination of Tamiya masking tapes and some cling film, saran wrap, sandwich film, whatever you call it, to save wasting tons of tape. And we've gone back in time and we're spraying it now. So there we go. Mr. Servicer 1500, couple of light coats all over, getting all that engine bay as well, all around the windows and the doors. Yeah, just make sure you're fully masked up properly, because the last thing you want is to be getting any bleed through. But again, luckily it will wipe off the 2K. So there we go. Final wipe over of the cloth, making sure we've got any residue or fingers off. You will get some residue from the tape, so you'll find a nice microfiber like this will remove that. If not, wet it and give it a good go over. It shouldn't leave anything behind permanently. But with a little bit of black on there, just brings the car to life just a touch. Just adds a little bit of depth to it. Windscreen in place. These fit really well. We've already fitted these on the last kit, so we know they fit well. So in place with a little bit of Bob Smith's gold. Just a few strategic dabs right at the front where it touches the body. Don't be tempted to use your precision tips on this. You'll find the static will drag the CA glue across the top of the body. And it'll leave a nice streak of glue on the glass. Ask me how I know. And then a quick dip in our activator. Just very lightly dab, touch, exactly where the glue is, and it should dry that instantly. Same on the back part as well, and the same on the rear window too. It's nice and simple. Like I said, the glass does fit really well. It fits in there absolutely perfectly. And then the back of our lights, the lights are in place in the rear panel, and we're going to paint the back of them in Vallejo Model Air Silver, just to give it a bit of reflectivity. Is that even a word, reflectivity? I don't know. There we go, there's our rear lights in place, and then that can be glued in place on the car. Now, mental note, glue this in place before you put the rear part of the bumper in, because otherwise you have a pig of a time getting in, which I'm about to find out in a little bit. And then we've got the front grille, which has got its spotlights in place, its headlights and its turn signals. And I've glued in the headlights, just making sure they don't fall out. And we've pre-painted the front indicators clear orange when we did the rear lights. And they're just held in with a little dab of Bob Smith's glue. Just plonk them in place. Painted the back of the lights in silver as well, where they sit. And then we've got our engine in place with our interior, our radiator surround and radiator, the bulkheads in there as well. And I've got to say that engine looks really cool in there. But if you remember right, in part 2, we do have a bit of an issue with this, and it's about to become apparent in a little bit. But that engine is big in that car. It fits in there beautiful. I think with the blue accents, it looks absolutely stunning. A little bit of Bob Smith's in place to hold the front grilling. So just a couple of strategic dabs where they can't be seen. And then slot this in and hold it for a few seconds. Make sure you've got no glue on your fingers. And then the rear valance. Now, this is a point of probably contention here now, where you're going to have to choose. There is a rear bumper part to go on the front, which we are going to put on. And there's also a rear bumper part on the back. I opted to leave it off just for a slightly different look. I had painted it all up, and I did comprehend putting it in place. I like the look of it just with this diffuser. Yes, there is a bit of a gap there, but once the car's sat down properly, you can't see it anyway. So I've opted to leave it off just for a little bit of a different look. So gluing this in place, got the exhaust tips in as well. They were painted in gunmetal earlier. I'm just holding this rear diffuser in place. Needs a little bit more glue. We'll put a little bit of kicker on there if we're quick. Quick. There we go. We can now get it in place. There we are. Once I'm happy where it's sat, job done. Wheels. So these need glue into their hubs and brake discs first. It doesn't matter which way around they go because we're going to orientate those in a minute. So glue them all in place. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them on their correct orientation on the front or rear. And then level it up to keep the brake caliper where we want it straight, whilst also keeping the ride height correct on the car. So as you can see, if you turn it, the ride height changes, but I want to keep the calipers orientated the right way, and luckily it all lined up really well. So a drop of Bob Smith's gap filling glue, or 4 drops. We can line it up, pop it in place, make sure the disc and caliper are orientated the right way, and then make sure our ride height's correct and that our wheel is sitting straight in the arches as well. And just hold it for a second or two while the glue grabs it. And there we go. There's one wheel on. A bit nerve-wracking at this point, this was, because I was like, oh, if I go wrong, I'm going to ruin it. So once I was happy, quick spray of activator through there and then quickly line it up. Same on the other side as well. These fitted really well. These did fit well. So obviously we had to grind the arches out on the car body and on the chassis as well. And this is why, because these wheels are so big, they're a very tight fit. Same on the back ones, which were very snug in those arches. But they do fit in, and these look wonderful. They really do look amazing. Bob Smith's glue, grabbing everything brilliantly. And there we go, there's all 4 wheels in place. Making sure it sits well. And I'm thinking right now, why is this rocking? But I don't figure it out for a while yet. Meanwhile, we're going to glue the front valance in place. And I do use a little bit too much glue here. Thankfully, it's Bob Smith's gold, because if you watch when I line this up and push it in place, the top piece squeezes out quite a bit of CA glue. But I just got it in place first, make sure it was all straight, and then I grabbed a cotton bud and just very gently wiped it back quickly. And thankfully, it left nothing behind at all. Door locks. So again, the Joe Camilleri tip of using dress pins. We're going to drill out the door locks. Now, spot the mistake. Yes, I've lost my door handles. No idea where they've gone. I had one and one vanished. And I thought, crap. What are we going to do? I thought, you know what? We'll just put a push button lock button thing inside the door handle recess. And we'll just pretend it's supposed to be there. In hindsight, I would have filled them. I think it would have got smoothed off, but we didn't. And the same on the boot lid as well. We just drill it out with our pin vise. And then pop the cut pin head in place, which is easier said than done sometimes. And then the mirrors, again, a bit of craft bond from Tamiya. PVA based glue holds the mirrors in place. And what I hadn't realised was that the sump of the engine was lower than the bottom of the car, and it started to rock on the sump. This is the bit I was talking about earlier. I'm just painting the cap on the expansion bottle black with a Sharpie. So I had to cut the bottom off, and then I filled it in with a little bit of styrene strip and just painted it silver again. So yeah, a bit of a pain, but this is what you get for switching engines out of bigger cars. It was literally rocking on the sump of the car. So yes, once I figured it out, I was like, okay. Yes, it is a big engine and it does only fit in this thing just. Final touch is our shine spray from UMP. So non-abrasive, it just wipes on, hazes off, and you wipe it off and it's like a spray wax. And this thing's looking fantastic. I think the interior colour looks great. The blue accent on the belts and what have you really contrasts well. Wheels look good in gunmetal, very happy with those. I think the black trim on the exterior looks really good as well. And the paintwork, well, that just looks awesome. The body kit looks great, all blended in. A lot of work in this kit. This was 22.5 hours of footage I had to edit down to an hour and a half. It took a lot of editing to do. There was a lot of footage, and I didn't even include the 3 hours or so of actual cleanup of the resin that I had. So it was a lot of work to do. But yeah, giving it all the final buff up, the paintwork comes out absolutely beautiful. And yeah, happy with this build. We've done the bonnet pins in black as well, just to tie it all in. And there we go. There she is. I think she looks absolutely fantastic. It's one mean looking car. Very happy how she's gone. The wide arch kit looks awesome. Like I say, the interior looks great. All the blue accents look great. I think the gunmetal wheels look good as well. Stance is absolutely beautiful on the car. Belts look great on the interior. Very, very cool. And then the engine, I think this looks great as well. I think it really suits the car. It's a big beast of an engine. And there we go. There's Revell's Ford 71 Mustang with the Iceman Collections wide body kit on it. Some finished pictures as well. So this is Revell's 71 Ford Mustang with the Iceman Collections wide body kit. This was primed in Tamiya grey primer. We had to bond all the body panels on with CA glue and fill them in with Tamiya epoxy putty. Like I say, it was primed in Tamiya grey primer. We painted it in Pro Scale BMW Carbon Black and then Pro Scale Ford Liquid Blue. 2K clear coat from Pro Scale over the top as usual. The interior was Pro Scale clay brown leather interior. We had some zoom on Recaro seats in there. We added some chrome accents and carbon decals to the seat backs as well, and some Eduard belts to it as well. The engine was stolen from the Foose pickup truck. I painted it gunmetal, added a Pro Scale distributor. I added body coloured valve covers and air cleaner to it as well. Only just fitted in there, very, very tight fit. The kit wheels were painted in Pro Scale gunmetal as well. The tyres are painted in Pro Scale rubber black. All the exterior trim was in LP5 semi-gloss black from Tamiya. We flatted back the bodywork with 16,000 tries of pads, polished it up with the zoom on compounds with our Proxon tool using the Menzana 2500 and 3500 compounds, with a final go over with the Autoglim Super Resin Polish, and of course, as usual, the UMP Shine Spray too. We also added some anthracite flocking to the interior and used various Pro Scale metallics and enamel paints from Tamiya all over the car as well. And I think the result turned out well. I'm happy with it. The 3D print wasn't the best, I will admit. I'm not going to lie about it. I paid a lot of money for it. I was quite disappointed in the quality of the print. But I think the end result turned out well. A little bit of work. This was quite a bit of work, this build. I think it's turned out okay. So there we go. Another build off the bench. Let's go back to me for some final thoughts. Okay, then there we go. We're all done. That was a lot of work. That really was a lot of work. That was a good solid 3.5, 4 days to get that thing to paint. The Revell kit is outstanding. It's a very good kit. We built the yellow one here a while back. Great kit. No problems on that kit that I can remember at all. New tool kit goes together like a dream. The wide body kit and me putting a massive engine in there that doesn't fit definitely didn't help the situation along. Engines by the by, that's always going to be a faff and a bodge to get in, which we did in the end, even though we had to cut the sump off. The body kit, though, I'm going to be totally honest, and if people don't like it, there's nothing I can do. I pay for this. I will give my honest opinion. So, as I said in the beginning, I pay £45 to deliver this from the States to the UK. We even got customs charges on it as well, which is part of the look and draw of buying things from outside the UK. James and Paul spent £5 each. It was a £10 file. They split it between them and printed off at home on their own resin printers for pennies. And the quality of their print was a lot better than the quality of my print. The layer lines in my print were awful. They're absolutely shocking. I wish I'd filmed myself sanding it all to show the faults in the print. I understand resin's gonna need sanding. I totally understand that. But when it can be home printed for a fraction of the cost, and it's better quality print with less layer lines, and it fits better, that's where it starts to become a little bit of a problem for me, because I don't think that's fair to spend the amount of money I spent and have a lesser quality product, and that's me being kind. Like I said in part one, I very nearly didn't build this. I spent 2 hours off camera. I didn't even film me doing it because I just thought, I don't think I'm going to end up using this. And out of sheer determination, I just sat there in a hangout with my buddy Andy, sanding away with a really aggressive sponge sander, trying to get rid of the layer lines. And I got rid of most of them with a lot of work. And then thought, right, do you know what? I'm going to build it. And we did. There are still layer lines I can see through the paint in some areas, and the fit wasn't great. That was a double-edged sword in a way, because I didn't originally plan to bond the kit to the car, and because the fit wasn't great, I ended up bonding it to it. And I'm glad I did, because I think it looks better with a flush finish. So I'm kind of glad I did that. So if you've had other body kits from Iceman collections, what's the quality been like? Let me know. I understand resin's going to need work. I work with resin all the time, but there's need and work, and then need and work. And when a home printed item of the same product is much better, that's to me where it becomes a little bit of an issue. But it went together well in the end. I think it looks outstanding. It's a very interesting car, very aggressive. There she is right there. And it was an interesting project as well. A lot of work, a lot of footage to sift through, a lot of video editing as well. But here we are with the finished product. So again, great work, and yeah, good fun. Nice buddy build with myself, because at this moment in time, Paul and James have not finished theirs yet, and Andrew didn't even start his because he was that disappointed in the print quality of the kit he bought from Iceman. He just put it back in the box and then build it, and that's really disappointing when we had a buddy build plan together. But anyway, that's my honest opinion. If you don't like it, don't watch the videos. Simple as that. I'll always give my honest opinion on stuff, especially things I pay for as well. So it is what it is. But the final result looks all right, and I'm happy with it. I build lots of alpha model kits. Their resin is impeccable. It's very good. The zoom on resin is very high quality, which is why we stock them. So I think the next trans kit I build will be a zoom on one, and we'll see what the quality is like there. Looks very good out the box. It's going to need a bit of work. I know that all resin does, but that'll be the next probably trans kit I do. Will probably be one of the zoom on kits. So stay tuned for that later down the line. So I hope you enjoyed that build. I enjoyed building it. I'm happy with the liquid blue. Outstanding colour. Like I say, once all the work was done to the bodywork, it turned out really well, but it was a massive amount of work to get to that stage. But worth the time in the long run. But anyway, there we go. To save me waffling on for any longer, there's another build off the bench. We're onwards and upwards next with... it'll be the Alpha Models Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, and then an Audi Quattro S1. You're going to see off me. Loads of build plans coming up. There's a Camaro buddy build coming up. There's loads. Just loads and loads of builds. So stay tuned. As always, if you want early access to these videos, buy up to 3 months now it is. There's the patrons get early access for 3 months. You can with Patreon and a link down below. There's all applicable tiers from like £3.50 up to God knows what. They all give you different things. But you get 3 month early access on all the videos. You get a bench update every Saturday morning from myself. Well, it's Saturday afternoon by the time it's filmed and edited. You get 10% off Pro Scale paint orders as well, as a perk. So you can get your month's subscription back with that straight away. You also get access to a Facebook support a group and chat group as well. There's like 80 of us in there now, all talking about modelling, tips, wherever we're bored, should I get this, help, what have you. You can speak to me directly in there as well. And you can request reviews and how-tos and what have you. And you help keep me being able to do this. Without your support as patrons, I couldn't carry on doing this. There's also a PayPal me to buy me coffee down there as well, if you want to buy me, do a one-off donation. And there's links to anything and everything to do with me, from Pro Scale Paints to the Off-Air Hangout group, all the forums, the Facebook page, all linked down below. There's even an email address to get in touch with me if you want to talk to me. There's links to my scale mates, my stashes down there as well. And all the products I use are all linked down there. It does need updating. I have gone through and updated some of it, but the links change all the time and I have to periodically go through and change it. But come to Pro Scale Paint as well. Come and support myself and Hannah, which is a small family business. All our paints, as you can see, I've got a whole display case of our products in there, looking wonderful at the minute. If we've got any paints that are not on there, drop us a line and we'll see if we can mix them for you. And there's no extra charge at all for a custom mix. And there we go. So thanks for everyone for watching. Please leave a comment at the end of the video. I do read every single comment. I might not reply. I do read every one. Have you built this kit? Have you built the base kit? Have you built it with the trans kit? Have you got other wide-body kits or engines and what have you from Iceman? What do you think of the build? And of course, make sure you sub to the channel, give the video a thumbs up or down, click the bell notifications to get notified of the latest videos, and I will see you all in the next video. And a huge thanks to all my patrons whose names are going to flash up at the end of this video. So have a good day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.